Welcome back to Le Podcast de Philippe. We're going to be looking at AI in video games today, from enemies that learn from how you play to those massive worlds you see in games like No Man's Sky. And we'll also talk about games like Minecraft, Voyage, and even AI and text-based adventures like AIDungeon. Pretty cool stuff, right? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the show on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon. So, AI making games tougher these days. What have you heard about this?
It's not really about difficulty. Well, it is, but more about making games smarter, I think. Giving developers, the tools to build more immersive and complex games, like responsiveness, engagement, all that. Those are all increasing thanks to AI.
Okay, so it's more than just like making things harder,
Yeah.
right? So how is this smarter AI actually showing up in the games we play?
Let me see. Dynamic difficulty adjustment is a good one. The game sort of analyzes how you're playing, and like adjusts to keep you on your toes. It's not about making it impossible to win. It's more like
Yeah.
keeping things engaging for you specifically.
So if I'm just cruising through a level, the game might like throw some extra enemies at me,
Yeah.
just to keep things interesting.
Exactly. A good example is Left 4 Dead. The AI, they call it the director, it controls how intense the game is, how fast it moves, all that, like based on how well the players are doing. More zombies, tougher zombies, changes where they spawn, all that to keep players on edge.
That's probably why I could never figure out what was going to happen next in that game.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I always felt like it was one step ahead.
Yeah, that unpredictability. That's what makes AI so powerful for games. It's not about harder. It's about, an experience that changes based on how you play.
I feel like AI is changing the way game worlds are built too. I've heard this term procedural generation. What is that all about?
Basically, instead of like hand designing every little thing in the world, developers can use AI to create, landscapes, levels, even quests. Every playthrough could be different, even in the same game.
Wait, so you're saying those huge worlds in some games are actually built by AI?
Oh yeah, definitely. No Man's Sky is a great example. Billions of planets,
Yeah.
right? Each one unique, ecosystems, landscapes, all made by AI. Even simpler games like Minecraft, where the world changes every time you play, that uses procedural generation too.
That's pretty wild. So AI is basically a world-building tool for developers now.
Yeah.
How does that even work? Does it just throw things together randomly?
No, it's not random. It's more like the AI is given rules, like parameters, and then it can make tons of variations from those rules, like a recipe for making worlds, I guess, like rules for how mountains are made or where rivers go. And then it uses those rules to build something that makes sense.
So it's like the AI gets some building blocks and then has to figure out how to put them all together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just for landscapes. You can make characters, dialogue, even stories with this. Adds so much replayability to games.
This procedural generation, it's not just about making things look nice. It changes the whole experience, right?
Yeah.
From exploring to questing.
Absolutely. And it's just getting better, too. More realistic, more connected worlds, like weather systems or even natural disasters that change how the game works.
Games feel so much more real when the world reacts to you.
Right. And that actually leads us to another really cool thing AI is doing in games. Personalization. Imagine games that figure out your play style, what you like, and actually change the story based on your choices.
Hold on. Games could change based on how I play. Like if I like sneaking around instead of fighting, the game would change.
That's the idea. AI can look at your gameplay, the choices you make, even your reactions, and then adjust the difficulty, recommend things you might like, even change the story. It's about making a unique experience for each player, so it feels like the game is reacting to you, not just following a script.
That's incredible. It sounds like sci-fi, but are there games that already do this?
We're still in the early days, yeah. But there are some really cool examples out there. Some games tailor the dialogue based on what you do, makes it more dynamic, more personal. There's this game called AIDungeon. It uses AI to make text-based adventures. They change constantly based on what you do in the game. It's like you're working with the AI to write the story.
So it's not just picking from like pre-written lines anymore. The AI is making up new dialogue as you play.
That's right. And that's just one thing. You can change the difficulty in subtle ways, like how many enemies there are, what kind of enemies you face, how many resources you have, even the puzzles you have to solve. All based on how you like to play.
It's like having a personal game master who's tweaking everything to make sure I'm having fun. This is incredible. What else is AI doing to make games feel more realistic?
Well, it's not just about making games and changing how we play them. It's also about how we experience these worlds, how we interact with them. Like, think about how we usually talk to characters in games. AI is making those conversations way more believable.
You mean no more of those, like, clunky dialogue trees
Yeah.
where you just pick from a list of responses?
Exactly. AI can understand natural language now, so you can type or even talk to characters normally, and the AI will get it and respond in a way that feels more human, actual conversations instead of just picking from a list.
That would be amazing. I always get taken out of the game when the dialogue is limited.
I know, right? It feels so fake.
Yeah.
AI is getting rid of those limitations, makes everything feel more natural. And it goes beyond dialogue, too. AI is building game environments that react to what you do.
So the choices I make will have consequences that affect more than just the quest I'm on.
Exactly. Imagine a world where your decisions affect the environment, how characters feel about each other, even the politics of the game. AI can keep track of everything and make it all flow together, making you feel like your actions really matter.
Wow, it's like the line between playing a game and living in a virtual world is disappearing.
Yeah.
Are there any games that actually do this kind of reactive storytelling?
There's Voyage, for example. The world and the story change based on how you interact with other players. It's like a shared world that reacts to everyone playing. It's super dynamic and unpredictable because it's not just you playing the game. It's the game responding to you and everyone else in real time.
Wow, that's insane. It's like the game is writing itself.
That's the power of AI. It's bringing a level of dynamism and responsiveness that we've never seen in games before.
It's incredible.
It really is. Makes you wonder what's next, Like, what are the limits of what AI can do with games?
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like AI can already do so much. What can't it do?
That's a great question. It's hard to say for sure, AI changes so fast. But one thing that comes to mind is like real human creativity. AI is amazing at learning, analyzing data, even imitating creativity sometimes. But that spark, like real inspiration to come up with something truly unique, I think that still comes from humans.
So AI can make games harder, more immersive, even personalized, but it can't come up with the ideas behind them.
That's what I think, yeah. It's like a computer can write a sentence that's grammatically perfect, but a human author can write a story that really moves you. Human creativity has depth that AI just can't replicate yet.
That makes sense. So it's not about AI taking over and making games for us. It's about using it as a tool to help human developers be even more creative.
Exactly. I think the best future for games is where AI and humans work together. Imagine developers using AI to build even more immersive worlds, to tell stories in ways we can't even imagine yet, but still keeping that human touch.
That's a much more exciting way to look at it. Not a competition, but a collaboration between humans and AI.
I think so. When AI can handle the technical stuff, it lets human developers focus on what makes games special, the story, the characters, the things that really connect with us.
That's great. AI is a creative partner. But even with all this potential, I'm sure there are downsides to using AI in games, right?
Yeah, there are always challenges with new tech. One worry is that if we rely on AI too much, games might start feeling predictable, like they're all made from the same mold.
So instead of feeling unique and handcrafted, they'll all start to feel the same.
It's definitely something to think about. It's like the difference between a meal that's made with love and something that's just mass-produced. They can both be good, but one has that special something.
I like that analogy. Developers need to make sure they don't lose that human element that makes games so great. What other downsides are there?
Well, another one is jobs. If AI can do the work that humans used to do, what happens to those jobs?
That's the big question whenever we talk about AI, right?
Yeah, it's a big one. But it's also worth remembering that new technology usually creates new jobs too. Maybe we'll just see different types of jobs in game dev, ones that focus on working with AI.
So instead of replacing humans completely, AI will just change what skills you need to work in the industry.
Right. It's about adapting and learning as the tech evolves, not being scared of it. I know some gamers don't like the idea of AI in their games. They think it'll make things too easy or take away from the challenge.
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of accomplishment that comes from
Yeah.
outsmarting a game or beating a tough opponent. Will AI make games less challenging?
I think it's the opposite. AI can actually make the challenges more dynamic, more engaging. Instead of seeing the same patterns over and over, you have to adapt to opponents and environments that are constantly changing. They learn from everything you do.
So AI isn't about making games easier. It's about a different kind of challenge, one that's less predictable.
Exactly. AI opponents are like sparring partners, always pushing you to get better.
I like that. It sounds like AI can make games more exciting than ever.
Yeah.
This has been awesome so far. Learning about how AI is changing games, from building huge worlds and personalizing stories, to maybe even changing how we interact with virtual worlds. AI isn't just changing the game, it's changing what's possible.
I agree. It's a really exciting time to be following this stuff. And like we've been talking about, it's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it, how we make sure we're using it the right way. So, speaking of the future, what do you think is next for AI in gaming? Any cool trends or developments you're watching?
Okay, let's talk about what's on the horizon.
Well, one area that's really taking off is AI-powered tools for actually making games. We've already talked about procedural generation, but it's being used to streamline other parts of development too, like level design, character animation, even composing the music.
So AI could help make games faster and cheaper. That sounds like a big deal, especially for smaller studios.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. These AI tools could make things a lot more fair. Anyone with a cool idea could actually make a game. And it's not just about being faster or saving money. AI can help us be more creative too. It can come up with new ideas, explore new designs, things that humans might not have thought of.
It's like having a brainstorming partner who never runs out of ideas.
Yeah.
What other exciting stuff is coming down the pipeline?
Combining AI with VR and AR is going to be huge, I think. Imagine talking with AI characters in a VR world. Like they're right there with you, reacting to everything you do.
Whoa, that's wild. It'd be like stepping into a book or a movie and actually being part of the story.
That's the goal, to make the virtual world feel real, to create experiences that are just more amazing than anything we've seen before. And with AR, you could have AI games happening right in your living room.
Okay, now that is just next level.
Mm.
It's hard to even imagine all the possibilities. So with all this stuff coming up, what does it mean for the average gamer? Should we be excited? Scared? Both?
I think a little bit of both is probably the right answer. AI could change everything about gaming. More immersive, more engaging, more personalized. But it comes with some challenges too.
So it's not just about blindly adopting the new tech, right?
Mm.
We need to think about the consequences, both good and bad.
Exactly. We need to talk about things like data privacy, bias in AI, making sure we're not spending all our time in virtual worlds and forgetting about real life. But we also need to be excited about what's possible, encourage people to innovate, to push the boundaries. AI has so much potential for the future of gaming.
I totally agree. AI in gaming is a wild ride. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be an amazing one.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This has been a great conversation. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure was all mine. And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep playing. The future of gaming is in your hands.
AI-powered tools for game creation are getting really interesting. We talked about procedural generation, but AI can streamline other stuff too. Level design, character animation, even like music composition.
So AI could help devs make games faster and for less money. That seems huge for indie studios.
Definitely. It could make things more fair. Like anyone with a good idea could actually make a game. Plus, it's not just about speed and cost. AI can boost creativity too, like suggesting ideas, exploring designs humans wouldn't think of.
A never-ending brainstorming partner. What else is coming up?
The mix of AI with VR and AR is going to be huge. Imagine talking to AI characters in VR, like they're really there, reacting to you.
Whoa, that would be wild.
Yeah.
Like you're inside a story.
Exactly. Blurring the lines between real and virtual, creating experiences that just blow you away. And with AI games happening right in your living room.
Mind blown. So much potential, it's hard to keep up. But what does it mean for gamers? Should we be excited? Scared?
Maybe a bit of both. AI could change everything about games, more immersive, engaging, personalized. But there are things to watch out for.
So we can't just accept everything blindly, right? Got to think about the good and bad.
For sure. We need to be talking about data privacy, AI bias, making sure we don't lose ourselves in virtual worlds. But we also need that excitement, that drive to innovate. AI has so much to offer gaming.
Well said. AI in gaming is complex, always changing. But it's going to be one heck of a ride.
Totally agree. This has been great. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure was all mine. And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep playing. The future of gaming is in your hands.